Sounds good. All right. I'll talk to you later, man. Thanks for calling. See you later. Bye. Hello. Who's on? Who's on? All right. I see Michelle's hand. Welcome, everyone. What's up, Michelle?
I have a buyer
Well,
consultation Friday. Yay!
there we go. Let's get it. Let's
That's
get them.
right.
Let's get them signed up. Let's
I
provide
was just
excellent.
responding to your text, Michelle. So in the drive, there's a reservation sheet. You can go
Okay.
in there and make sure it's available
Oh, sign up.
and sign up. Yeah.
Thank
If
you.
you guys ever want the conference room, just sign up and
In the
have your
drive.
meetings and yeah, and in the drive and have your meetings here and
Gotcha.
there's always snacks and drinks in the fridge so you could treat your clients nice and make sure you guys are breaking bread while you're meeting. So,
Yeah,
cool. Thanks for bringing that up. All right.
sure.
So let's get into it. Um, so this is a every other Tuesday call, and it's how to find and evaluate investment properties on the multiple listing service. So, um, I found a lot of deals over my lifetime on the MLS. A lot of deals that I've personally bought, a lot of deals that clients have bought, and this is really where you make a lot of money, right? Because most of the deals are going to come from, they're all going to be on the multiple listing service. There's some off markets, but percentage wise, it's, probably, I don't know what it would be, probably like less than 1% of all deals are off market. The rest are on market deals. So we got to get really good at identifying deals on the MLS. And once you start identifying deals on the MLS, then guess what? Not only can you help other people make money, and why is that important? Well, again, my mission is OPM, other people's money. So the more people that I help with their real estate or make money, the better my life is, right? Just like Zig Ziglar said, one way that you could get whatever you want out of life is helping enough people get what they want out of life. This is exactly where you do that, right? Because if you get good at finding deals, making people money, you find a good investment property, then you guess what? You get paid. You get paid a commission that helps your life. So that's what we're doing here is we're learning how to use the multiple listing service in order to find deals. Okay. So that's the little 10 seconds spiel. Now let's get into it. Before we start, does anyone have a property you want me to look at and evaluate before I jump into looking for deals? And if you don't have it off the top of your head, you could always just text it in the chat and then I'll get around to it afterwards. All right, so for starters, let's by the way, the faster you can evaluate deals, the more deals you're able to look at and the more money you'll be able to make. That's just kind of how it works. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into contacts. I'm going to go into view. You guys can see my screen, right? The MLS. Um, I'm going to type in Voltaire Lepe and I have a bunch of saved searches in here, right? Which I'm sure you guys do too. Um, I also have searches for myself for investments. So I have one that says open me my area investments. So I like created a search where I know this area like the back of my hand. I know what the prices are. So I'm able to quickly go through it and look for deals. And then I have a 3 to 4 unit deal search. I have commercial multifamily search. I have industrial search. So let's go right into it. Click into the first search. And I have it open for everything. So in this case, there's a townhome, 391,000. This isn't a deal, right? 534 bucks a square foot. That's like one of the first things to look at. Definitely not a deal. So I'm just gonna move on from this one. The next one is a one bedroom condo, 523 bucks a square foot. Not a deal. Keep moving. Boston Avenue, 4015. I think we just sold 4019 Boston Avenue last year. Same size, same square footage. Um, we sold it for 625. So this isn't a deal. Um, it's a rough street. flooding happens on that street. Inglewood, Lemon Grove, 4 bedroom, 3 bath. And you see me reference this a lot. You see me reference the price per square foot. So $476 a square foot. It's not a deal. I want to see stuff in the low 400s or 300s, and then I start looking at it a little bit closer. But something caught my eye. Price 700, not bad. It says it has some type of junior ADU, right? So that kind of caught my eye. So let's look at it a little bit closer. 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1128 square feet plus a 340 square foot ADU junior ADU. Ideal home for a multi-generational live and rent. 12 owned solar panels. So okay, it's getting a little bit better as I read through it. Main home has smart layout, allowing you to spacious rooms and lots of light. Charming craftsman, like original hardwood floors. And let me get to the part where it talks about the ADU. There's even more room to add a pool. Junior ADU has a modern kitchen and bath, privacy from main home, and spacious outdoor wraps. So for $700, 2 units, now it's like, okay, now I'm looking at it like, okay, this could be, has potential for sure, even though the price per square foot isn't, let's say, great. It ain't bad, but it ain't great. Now, if you guys can see my calculator, yeah? Yeah? No?
No.
Okay, let me do that again. Let me share so we can look at my calculator. Bam. Okay, now you guys can see it, right? So this is a simple calculation. You get the list price, $699, and then you divide it by 2 units. So now I'm using price per door. So just a moment ago, you saw me use price per square foot, $476 a square foot, and right now you're looking at me do price per door. So 349,000. That's not like great price per door, but now we're looking at 2 units for 700. That sounds good to me. So I'm gonna do a quick search. I'm gonna do Lemon Grove 91945. I'm gonna search that entire area. And by the way, this is like for years, this is how I made money. Every morning I would just jump on to the MLS. First thing I did when I pulled up to the office for years, and I would just look for deals. And then as soon as I found the deal, I picked up the phone and I called one of my buyers and say, "Hey, I found you something. Meet me at the property." I'm going 24 months back, and I'm seeing how many properties sold for $700,000 that were 2 units. There's 4 over the last 24 months. I'm gonna do 750. There's 8. Okay, so I'm gonna hit search. I just want to see what the comps are like over here. So the first one, 750, 5 days on the market on Massachusetts, which is a really busy street. And it doesn't give me like how many bedrooms and baths each unit is. It says is a VA assumable. Let me see here. So it's a 2 bedroom, 1 bath, and then 1 bedroom, 1 bath. So automatically, the one that we're talking about, it's better, right? Because it has it's probably like a 3 bedroom, 2 bath front house, and then the little 1-1. So this one that's inferior is a 2-1 and a 1-1, and it's sold for 750. Sold for 50,000 more than what they're asking for. So right off top, there's definitely at least 50,000 minimum value, which is actually more because that 2-1 is really like a 3-2. So it's like $75,000 to $100,000 under market. Okay, do you see how my brain's thinking? So it's 100,000 under market. The street itself, it's not on a super busy street like Massachusetts is, so that adds a little bit to it, maybe 25,000. Okay, so that's the first comp. Second comp, it's 2 units. Each of them are 2 bedroom, 1 bath, right off the freeway, and it's like a typical duplex, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, sold for 680. So they're asking 750, sold for 680. That was a year ago. And why did it sell for that? So this is a good deal for somebody, a little 2 units. So okay, this one's, the one that we have is about the same size, right? Let me see how many square feet, 1,800 square feet. So this is actually a large 2 unit. So this one was a good deal. They're offering it 750, sold for 680. This one, another duplex, 1-1, so 2 1-1s, and it's sold for 750. So again, I'm seeing value in the one that we're looking at. Skyline, we sold this one, a 3 bedroom and a 1 bedroom, and this one needed work. Like it needed like a lot of work underneath the foundation and stuff like that. Um, and it sold for 725. So the one that we're currently looking at is better than this one that we sold. Okay. And this one had tenants. We had to deal with that. All right. The next one sold for 660, a 3-2 and a 1. So this one's very comparable and it sold for 660. Why did it sell for 660? It had a JADU. I mean, this is exactly what you want. I don't know why it sold for 660. So now the value doesn't look as great as it did a few moments ago. But if you look at it, it looks like, they just converted the garage. It looks kind of crappy, but the inside looks good, clean.
I think it was
All
all
right.
unpermitted when I saw it on the market, which
Oh, unpermitted? Okay.
I think so. I remember talking to the agent about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense because it seems like a good deal at 660, right? I'm just gonna click on, in case you didn't see what I clicked on. I clicked on this, which is the tax records. We always want to look at the tax record. Tax record says it's zoned for 2 units. Let's see what they have it at. Looks like it was in a foreclosure last year. So maybe that has some, but it says 2 units right here. So maybe it was a fire sale. I don't know. But the next one on Skyline, 750, it sold for. And this one was 2 units. Both units will be vacated September 1st. And it doesn't say the bedrooms and baths, which is weird. Let me click on the tax record. Again, I'm trying to get an idea if the one we're looking at is a deal or not. And this is what sometimes you got to do. You got to dig a little bit deeper. Two units total, 2 bedroom, 1 bath each. So ours is a little bit better than this one. This one sold for 750. And then the last one sold for 695. And it was 1-1, 2 1-1 sold for 695. So we're getting, in essence, 2 more bedrooms and 1 more bathroom for the same price. So that's kind of my comparison, rule of, back of the napkin, really quick comparison. And then the one next door also 2 1-1s, sold for 675. So far this seems like a good deal for someone. It's not like a steal where it's a slam dunk where it's like I want to buy it like like professional, let's say, investor, but there's be a lot of investors that would want to buy this. Now, the last thing I'll do is this. I'm gonna go to, let me see, ChatGPT. You could go to Zillow or whatever. So I'm gonna do what question? What would the PITI be for a property worth $700,000 with a zero down payment at a 5.75% interest rate and no PMI. Tax rate is 1.2% and insurance is $2,000 a year. And then right here, it's going to break down the PITI for me. I'm looking for a VA buyer. So now it's right here. It gives it to me $5,000, right? 49.53. So now I go back to this and I go, well, how much can I rent this 3 bedroom, 2 bath house for? But in Lemon Grove, what are you guys thinking? What are your thoughts? Anyone?
3,300.
33. Okay. What's another opinion on rent for a 3 bedroom, 2 bath Lemon Grove? Anyone? We're all realtors. We have
Three-
some type of opinion.
3,000.
3,000. Okay.
4,000.
3,000. Okay. I'm gonna go with 3,200. And those are all really good guesses. And I think it's somewhere in that range. it's not as the market isn't as strong as it was once. Now, how much could the 1-1 rent for the
1,800.
1,800? Okay. Any other thoughts on that?
1900.
Cool, 1,900. Cool. I'm gonna go super conservative. I'm gonna do 1,800 too. 1,800. You guys can see my calculator? Yeah, 3,200 plus
Mhm.
1,800 equals 5 grand. So in this case, I could bring it to a client of mine and say, hey, you're a VA buyer. Let's use your VA. It's 0 down. You could break even, right? Live in it for 1 year, move out, and now it pays for itself. This is a good deal, right? It might not be like for like an investor type, but it could be like for someone starting the first home. Like this is and this is how you explain it to your client. Who's gonna say no?
Right.
Do we have a client for this, Claudia?
I was going to show it to Brian and David too.
And who else?
That's it.
I have maybe
Um,
like
yeah,
a question.
I
Oh,
have a.
but I have
I'm thinking of someone named Matt and Catherine. Like they're VA. They're looking for something that they're gonna live in for a year, move out, it pay for itself. No.
Yeah.
So everyone, you guys could all think of someone that you know, but this is how you find deals, and then you bring them to them. They're like, "Man, you found this deal for me," you know. And this is what we have to do, and this is like for me, it's like a no-brainer, 0 down. Especially if we could get like the seller to pay like some closing costs. So next step is, by the way, I want to compare it to see if it's good for an investor too. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT and I'm put what if the down payment was 25% and the rate was 7%. Bam. Let's see if it makes sense for an investor to hold on to it.
could you also do it with 8.5%? Because that's what a P&L loan client I have right now is looking for, and his rate's like that because he's not doing Texas and stuff like that.
What rate did you put?
8.5.
8.5. Cool. Look at for what I just put right now, 7%, 25% down, bread and butter. The difference is $640 a month between rent and by the way, you can't find these right now. Does that make sense? Like it's hard to find something with 25% down and for it to break even. This one's giving you a profit of $640. So and Memo, you said 8.5? I can't hear you. What about 8.5%?
Are you already doing 25% or 20%?
Yeah, 25.
Oh, yep.
This is panning out to be a good deal, and we found it on our second try or maybe third property. $4,900, Memo. $4,900. It pays for itself. In this market, whenever investors come to me, I just tell them, hey, look it, as long as it pays for itself, I would consider it decent. It's like definitely look at it. So this is one. So the next step I'm going to do here, I'm going to hit share tab, text, and then I'm going to type in my phone number, and then I'm going to text it to a client afterwards. So I'm going to hit Voltaire Lepe, my cell phone, send. Now it's on my phone right here, my phone. And I'm going to grab this link and I'm going to text it to a client. Copy link. And I'm going to say, let me see. Let me look for the group chat. Hi, guys. Just found this property, 0 down, and it would pay for itself. Let me know what you think. I think that's it, so I want you guys to do that. As you find deals, this is kind of how you do it. And then that way they know that you're working for them. All right, the next one. Broadway, right up the street from us, $359 for a 1-bedroom, $743 a square foot, not a deal. Next one, Inglewood, Lemon Grove, $639 for a single family house, 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 1,000 square feet, not a deal. I'd rather pay 60 grand more to get that extra junior ADU already built in. And I get an extra bedroom and extra bath. 41st Street. Okay, so this is kind of where you find, in our business, we make money when we find mistakes. This one's a potential mistake. It says 41st Street, but it's listed under all other attached. Do you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
It's been on the market for 125 days. Now, the issue here is that it's overpriced. They want $1 million. So even if it was a condo or a house, or it doesn't matter, like it's overpriced. The other, let me see, it's in Mount Hope, it looks like. So back on market, no fault to the property. This is a turnkey 3 units, it says. For the price of a single family house, it has an ADU and a JDU are fully permitted, remodeled. So it isn't not only is it not just a attached or a detached, it's an actual multi-unit, 3 units. Single family house is in the front. It's a 2-bedroom and rents for $2,400. The ADU is in the back house is a 2-bedroom ADU, rents for $2,600, and the junior ADU is $1,500. Total rental income is $6,500 a month. The solar is owned. So, okay, she has my attention because there's a mistake. I don't know if it's if the price is right, but this is a mistake as far as the listing. Let me see. 2 units have oversized, fully enclosed private patios, move-in ready. Okay. Let me read the confidential remarks. By the way, this is something that we all got to get used to. We got to read these little remarks, right? The front unit is vacant and can be shown the 2 back units with accepted offer. Cool. So 3 units for $999. You guys can see my calculator still, right? So $999. I'm dividing it by 3 units. That's $333,000 a door. Doesn't seem like a deal. The second thing I noticed right here is 2,800 square foot lot. So 2,800 square foot lots are super tiny. Like, I don't know if anyone that wants a 2,800 square foot lot. So it looks kind of funky. 2,800 square foot lot, 3 units, that's tight. Looks like it's remodeled. And yeah, it looks like they just built it. Brand new construction. Okay. So the lot is tiny. I don't like it right off top because of that. But let's see what the monthly payment is. It says that the total income is $6,500 a month. So let me go back to ChatGPT. What if the property was worth 1 million and the down was 0 and interest rate 5.75% VA loan? Cool. Let's find out. Let's see what it is. PITI, $7,000. So if you remember, the total rent is $6,500, paid off solar. So this isn't like a bad deal either. They're in it for $500 out of their pocket after they move out. So this is probably like one of the better deals you're going to find out there. It's not as good as that. I'd rather have that duplex just because it has land and all that. I don't really like small little lots like this personally. But I'm looking at the history, and they first listed it for $1,050,000, $1 million, and then so. Any comments on this one? I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna click on the tax record. I just want to see if they bought it a year ago for $895. And by the way, a lot of people are selling that bought a year ago, 2 years ago. So talk to everybody. Talk to everyone. Ask them, hey, I know you just bought. How's it going? Don't be shy about it. Okay. I don't see anything special here that's going to give me any further information. I just see confirmation that's a 2,800 square foot lot, which I don't really like. But all right, let's keep moving. That one I'm not gonna send to nobody. I mean, VA buyer, it's a tight lot. I don't know. All right, attached, two bedroom, two bath, 635. Um, this is a decent area, a decent pocket, but it's not a deal. It's just a condo, two bedroom condo for 635. College Avenue, it's a two bedroom condo for 450. It doesn't have the price per square foot, so
Hmm.
I'm just gonna throw it on here real quick. Price per square foot. Let me see, 450 divided by 854. That's 526 square foot, so it's not a deal. So I'm just gonna keep it pushing. This one's on Steel Street, 33rd and Steel, 625. It's a house, three bedroom, two bath house, 1,000 square feet for 625. That seems decent. It is in the hood. Let's see here, off of Imperial and 33rd, Market Street, Francis. Okay, yeah. So this is in the hood, 5,000 square foot lot, but it's under. I mean, it's a good deal for someone to live in their maybe their first home or something, but it's not a steal. It's not like a deal I would send to somebody. I would send it to someone who's looking for the first home. Let me just click on here just to make sure that I'm not missing nothing on the tax record. And the only reason why I'm looking more into it just because the prices seems good, 430,000. They bought it in 2020. Okay, cool. Nothing there. Now I'm gonna go into my next search, which is 3 to 4 units. Let's see what pops up. A property on Kansas Street. It's an eightplex, 3.2 million. And they're all two bedroom, one bath, so that's a good layout. So the first thing I notice is the layout is nice. It's two bedroom, one bath units, and four of the units have been completely remodeled. And 3.2, so I'm just
Oh,
take out my calculator. What was that?
nothing.
Got it.
It seems high. Never mind.
Let me see. 3,195,000 divided by 8. That's $400,000 a door. By the way, I just missed a call from a client, the one I sent the text to. So it seems like they might be interested in it, right? I'll call him afterwards and see if he has any interest in the property. The one I just texted him, the one in Lemon Grove. But let me see, $400,000 a unit for North Park. That doesn't seem bad. 7,000 square foot lot, four of them remodeled. Um, I've seen a lot of units in North Park sell for like 450 a square foot. I mean, sorry, $450,000 a door. And this one's selling for $400,000 a door. So it's not like a bad deal, but it's not screaming like it's a steal. But look at the inside. Four of them are remodeled. They look good. Um, Let me look at the cap rate real quick. Okay, so I'm just gonna bear with me. So the way you do cap rate is very simple. You take the total GSI, gross scheduled income, $218,000 annually. So that's all the rents combined, okay, between all the units. So I'm gonna take this number and then I'm gonna apply something called an expense rate. What's an expense rate? It covers maintenance, taxes, insurance, expenses that the owner is gonna have managing and having this property. So 218, 328. So I'm taking my calculator. 218, 328, subtract 35%. Actually, I've been doing 40% because everything's going up, insurance and all that. So I'm going to do 40% expense rate. So minus 40%, that's $87,000 a year. So what's remaining is called NOI, net operating income. So 130,000, and I'm going to divide it into the purchase price in order to find out what the cap rate is. So I'm going to do divide by 3,195,000 equals 4.1% cap. So this cap rate is small. It's 4 point. Yeah, I mean, really, in order to find a deal, is like you want to start looking at 5% cap rates and higher. So 4.1% is just not great. Now, that's one option. Second option to analyze this property is I want to look at the rents. If you see here, the properties that weren't remodeled, they're renting for $1,700 a month. The ones that were remodeled were renting for $2,850. So the second way to find out what the potential cap rate is you apply the potential rents. So I'm gonna do 2,850 times 8 units. That's a month times 12 months. That's 273,000 for the year, minus 40% expense rate equals 164 net operating income, and I'm gonna divide that into the purchase price. Oops, there we go. And that gives me a 5.1% cap rate. So in the future, it'll be better, but still, this isn't great because 5.1%, because then I still got to remodel those 4 units and kick the tenants out. So anyways, this one is not a deal. We'll move on. Commercial units. Now I'm clicking on commercial units. You had a question, Francia? No. Okay. Spring Valley. For 1.8 million. You have a question, Francia? We could hear you.
No, I'm so sorry. I didn't know I was not muted.
Okay, it's all good. So you just make noises just for no reason. You're just right there, just making noises. All right, that's cool.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I totally thought I was muted the whole time, and Memo's sitting right behind me, so he's making me move around.
All right. So the first thing is 1.8 million for a 6-plex. So you divide 1.8 divided by 6, it gives you price per door, 301,000. So the price per door looks a lot better. If you guys saw the previous ones, we were at like 330,000 a door, 350,000 a door, $400,000 a door. Now we're at 301. So this one is better, but then it's Spring Valley. It's supposed to be better, right? Because it's like, not the greatest area. And they're saying that there's 6 units, all of them 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and they're rented for $2,500. So if that's the case, it doesn't seem bad. Now, they're advertising a 7.1% cap rate. Let's find out. Let's find out if that's accurate. But that's crazy. The rent to me sounds high. Does anyone else think the rent's high for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath in Spring Valley? Remodeled, $2,500. All right. So I'm gonna do 2,500 a month times 6 units. That's 15,000 a month times 12. That's 108,000 gross. Okay. Minus 40% expense rate equals $108,000 net income a year divided by the purchase price, 1,810. That's a 5.9% cap rate. So this is almost a 6% cap. So this is actually pretty good. But the question is, to me, is can they maintain $2,500 per unit rents? That sounds high to me. So I'm not sure how they got those rents, but it seems high. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a price per square foot. It says that the total square footage of the property is 5,000 square feet. So I'm going to do the purchase price divided by 5,000 square feet. Price per square foot is 362. So that's not bad. $362 a square foot. If it was lower 300s, it'd be a way better deal. The last thing I'm going to do for this one to see if it's a deal is a gross rent multiplier, GRM. So I'm going to do the GRM. How do I do that? Is I do per unit the rent times 6 units. That's 108,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide the purchase price into the gross scheduled income, which is 108,000 a year. Okay, you guys ready? So purchase price divided by scheduled income equals a 10 GRM, 10.05. So on paper, this is a deal because it's like a 6% cap rate, a 10 GRM, remodeled. The only question I have again is, how are they getting $2,500 a month for rent in Spring Valley for a 2-bedroom? Does anyone else think that's high, or do you guys think that's normal? In case you guys have rented something.
Going up. Rent goes up so much everywhere, even in Spring Valley, but it might be 200 high.
I mean, maybe it's remodeled and maybe that's why people are paying that much. I'm not sure.
How large is each unit?
Let's see here. See, this is I found some discrepancy because on the MLS they're advertising it as 5,000 square feet total, and right here it's 4416. So to answer your question is let's do 4416 divided by 6 units, 736 square foot units. That's how big they are, Ryan. 736 square feet. What do you think?
In that case, I don't think 2,500 is sustainable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's my gut feeling. And it says 6 parking spaces, so everyone gets one parking space. Let's look at the photos again. So, I mean, I would probably reach out to someone who has a triplex and has some equity and says, hey, do you want to trade for a sixplex? Or, you know, I'm not sure. But the numbers don't look bad, just are they sustainable? That's the question. So this is a question mark for me. The next one is 37th Street, or sorry, 8th Street in Bankers Hill, 8 units for 4.6 million. So right off top is just too much. It's $580,000 a door, and it's too expensive. 4.6 million to make sense. Looks like a really beautiful property, well maintained. It's right by Whole Foods in Hillcrest. Yeah. So this is more like, you have money, you just want to place it, you don't care about the cash flow, just a nice investment, nice part of town, but that doesn't seem like a great deal to me. The next one, Oregon Street, North Park, 3.2 million, $457,000 a door. It doesn't make sense. We just looked at one in North Park for $350,000 a door. So, that's right off top. Now they are getting higher rents, it looks like, but still not, looks like it was well managed because they got the like market rents, but it's just not a great deal. Again, somebody who has money or is doing a 1031 exchange and they just want something, they don't care about the cash flow, they just pay for itself. All right. So that's the findings so far. Let me see. Is there anything else? There's nothing else that's new that would make that has hit the market. Do you guys have anything you want me to look at? So one fourplex that changed price. Let me look at that. Nope. 2 million divided by 4 is $500,000 a door. North Park, it's too much. Okay. If you guys don't have anything, before I'm gonna run some comps on a property. You guys can watch me run comps for a client. But before that, Vanessa, is there anything you want to talk about? We have coffee and cash tomorrow morning. Again, who do you bring coffee and cash tomorrow morning? That we're going to be talking about how to offset your W-2 income. Rich people. I just had coffee with an owner of a bank. He owns the bank where I bank, and we had coffee. And I'm talking about coffee and cash. And this is somebody who's like a multi-deca millionaire who has a lot of money. And I asked him, hey, what do you put your money in? He's telling me. And he says, but my wife really likes investment property because she's saying that I make so much money that I need to offset my income. He just said it like that. And I was like, interesting. Tomorrow at Coffee and Cash, that's going to be the topic. So you should have your wife come. You should come. He goes, yeah, you know what? I might come. Because he's a top income earner, probably makes millions a year, but he's paying all these taxes and his wife is tired of him paying taxes. So I invited him to Coffee and Cash. And actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to reach out to him right now and be like, hey, anyone else that you know that has a high income, invite them to Coffee and Cash tomorrow. I have a doctor that I invited to Coffee and Cash, makes $500,000 a year. She could wipe out her income. So this is why you use Coffee and Cash, is you bring your clients into it, they get educated by you, and then they do business with you, and then you get another deal under your belt. Next week, we also have the State of the Market address. This is an annual thing. We educate all our clients, all your clients, and we show them what happened last year and what we think is going to happen next year based on what's happening today. So that's going to be on a Zoom next week on the 21st, 6:30 p.m. Make sure all your clients and friends are there. And then the last one is the vision board party, and that's going to be on a Saturday. Bring your clients, sign up with Vanessa. That's going to be Saturday, January 17th. Without a vision, we can't do much, so we need a vision. Vanessa, is there anything else?
No, just wanted to emphasize state of the market address. There is a panel of speakers, and they're joining to give us all tremendous value. I don't think that our group takes advantage of this opportunity like they should. I have 21 people RSVP'd. So I should have all of the agents RSVP'd and all of their current or even past clients. Some of you have 17 closings. Those are the people that you should reach out to and invite. Some of you have clients you're showing properties to. They're people you should invite. It's something that is going to help the credibility that you have with your clients, with your family, with your sphere of this agent knows what they're doing and they have the resources. That's what this workshop is going to do for you guys. So I put the links in the chat. And yeah, the vision board is this Saturday, completely free. Come in and figure out what you guys want to get out of 2026.
Yep. So here's an update on that little duplex in Lemon Grove, the ADU property. I sent it to my client. He texts, says, yes, looks great. Can we look at it today? So that's how you get yourself deals. You don't worry about getting the client. Find the deal, and then you'll get plenty of clients with the deal. The hardest thing in real estate, guys, the hardest thing to find is the deal. If you find a good deal, you have 100 buyers. Does that make sense? So focus on finding the deal, and then you'll find the client. So we're going to go show the property to a client today. Hopefully, we'll see. It's obviously incoming soon, so we're going to have to call the agent and figure that out. But okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
And you sent that by a share and then you texted it, right? That's how
Yes.
that's just okay. Thank you.
And then my text was very simple. I said, hi guys, just found this property, 0 down, because I know they're VA, and it would pay for itself. Let me know what you think. And then they said, yeah, looks great. Claudia, kid, we look at it today. That's it. It's as simple as that. We have to just find these deals for clients, and people, they'll take our lead. Who doesn't want a 0 down, 0 investment, and you own a property?
Right.
That's a great deal.
Question.
Yes.
If I have a client that's basically this would be their first investment to a portfolio, and I invite him tomorrow because he makes about like 500 a year,
Nice.
and like
Yeah.
first year doing it's crazy. He's a homie from Paradise Hills. Anyway,
Shout
we're
out
looking
to
for
him.
properties for him, and like he's very stuck on like I want my first property to make money off top, so I'm gonna hold it, right? Like so if I were to pitch him this, and my pitch to him is, hey, it's gonna be paying for itself, right? What would you tell him as far as, I mean, maybe it's not a good deal and I shouldn't send it to him, but if it's someone that's stuck on like, hey, I wanted to have some cash flow off tops, like, is there anything specific you would say to him? Like, I guess as a sales like thing, or how would you break it down to him as being so experienced as you are?
Yeah, I would just say that's the market today. The market today is if you can find a property that pays for itself, that's gold. That's what the market is. The market isn't finding a property like this 0 down and then you're making $1,000 a month. That doesn't exist. So it's just as simple as that, just educating them on the market. Now, if he bought in 2010, 2011, when prices were 120,000, 150,000 for the same property, then yeah, he should expect, because that's what the market is. The market is you make $500, $1,000 a month profit, but that's not the market today. And I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. So the education piece is showing them what the market is doing with that one pager that we always talk about, that I always go over, which you guys should go over with your client, this one right here. And then just say, hey, yeah, the market is, if you can find something that pays for itself, there's like very rare, few and far in between. So this is a good deal. because of that, because of the market. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So his expectations have to change. Like you have to set his
Yeah,
expectations for sure.
for sure.
Um, okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, of course. So that's kind of like the portion of where we look for deals. And if you ever have a deal that you want me to look at, bring it to this session and I'll tell you what I think about the deal. If you ever have a client that's you're going to pitch them a fourplex or a fiveplex or a tenplex or whatever, you can run it by me and I'll tell you, yeah, this is what I think. So what you're seeing me do now is a client is interested in this property. This is separate, right? But I'm going to show you how to do an analysis if you want to do an analysis. I'm going to run through it. We're going to save it and we're going to put this little 2-minute video so you could in the future learn how to run analysis. So this is a property. All I'm doing is copying and pasting. I want to see, my client wants to know what this property is worth because we're going to write an offer. I'm going to go to residential search. I'm going to start from top
I'm
to
sorry,
bottom.
really quick. I'm jumping off, but if you guys have any questions for me, reach out to me and
Cool.
I'll upload this recording when you're done.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, perfect. All right, bye. All right, so this is how I run comps. I threw in the address, El Cajon. I hit search. It finds it on the map. I do half a mile radius. I hit search radius. There it pulls it up. And then I go back to criteria. So top to bottom. So I map first. Second is what type of property. I type in detached. ADU, yes or no. Does it have one? Which this one, I'm not going to search that. I'm just going to leave that open. The more you leave open, the more you'll be able to find more comps. And I'm going to type in all active, all pending, all sold. And I'm going to go back 6 months for starters. And there's only 4. And this is before I put bedrooms and baths and square footage. So I'm just going to leave it. Okay. Now, this one's 2,800 square feet, 4-bedroom, 3 baths. So I'm going to go back here. There's only 4. So let me see if there's any other 2,800 square foot homes. See, there's 3 actives. So that's not good. Why? Because comps are solds. Yeah, we could use actives, but no, that I don't want to use actives. So I'm going to go back to criteria. I'm going to go back to 12 months. I'm going to go back 12 months. Now there's 6. I don't think that's enough either. So I'm going to go back 18 months. There's only 6. So what I'm going to go back is to radius. I'm going to expand the radius. Okay. So I'm going to go to, let me see. Where is it at? This one? Nope. How come I cannot find it? And it just started doing this on me. Before I used to be able to click it and then expand it that way. If anyone knows, let me know and help me out. Radius.
You put
Edit.
Edit. Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Oops. Sheesh. All right. Let me get rid of that second one. So there we go. I'm going to edit this. There we go. There's some more. There we go. So found some more comps. And I think that should be good. Now I have 11. All right. So now I get to maybe narrow it down a little bit, 2,800 square feet. So I'm going to go really high. Usually I go 200 square feet above, 200 square feet below. But in this one, I'm just going to get rid of like all the crazy ones that are like 7,000 square feet. So there's 9 under 4,000 square feet. And several of them are sales. Perfect. So this one's 2,000 square feet, too low. So I'm not going to use this one. So I'm just going to check all of them off and I'm going to uncheck this one. The next one is 3,200 square feet. Let me go back to ours. It's 2,800. So this one's pretty in line. 3,200, 3,100, 2,800, 32. This one, 23, might be a little bit too low. 400 square feet off. This one's 3,400. So I'll just let these counterbalance each other. And then 2 actives. Perfect. So I'm going to do checked. I'm just going to look at, the way I do it is I just fly through these photos. It looks good. It looks clean. Not all the way upgraded, but clean. They just kept it clean. Looks like, expensive appliances. Nice views. Good lighting. Windows are new. Nice high ceilings, vaulted. Fireplace. Again, it's a little bit outdated, but it's clean, Okay, a nice master bedroom. A little bit outdated outdoor shower area. Let me see here. Um, Again, I'm looking at these photos, trying to just figure out what I'm going to compare it to. Really nice yard outside. I mean, looks good. You know, it looks clean. It looks like a beautiful family home. Nice landscaping, hardscaping, you know, right up against this mountain. So the views are probably nice. Solar. Okay, cool. I got a good idea. Multiple garages, maybe 3 car. Okay, now I'm back to the front. So parking spaces 6, garage 2 doors. Let me see. All right, so now I'm going to compare it to what we find. So this one off top looks nicer, looks like it's more expensive, just the entrance alone. Super manicured, beautiful. You know, it's not the newest remodel, but it's nice and clean, a few years old probably. Um, is this like a separate house? It doesn't look like the main house. So this was a ADU, so 2 acres with a guest house. So we just saw the guest house. So you get kind of 2 houses for this. Is it a comp? 1.9 million? I don't know. I don't think it's a comp. All right, next one, 3,100 square feet, 1.775 million. This might be a tough comp to comp because there's multiple different types of properties. This one has a pool, nice views, beautiful views. It looks like it's in a community with tennis courts and different things. A little bit more modern. So a little bit nicer, not that much nicer. Um, all right. Nice house. It's sold for 561 a square foot. Let me just go back to mine real quick. Let me run the numbers here. If you can see my calculator, what I'm doing is I'm typing in the list price divided by 2836. So 396 a square foot. Like that seems kind of cheap compared to 561. So I don't know what's going on with this one. It's underpriced. The next one is Rancho Trail Drive 2873. So same square footage for 475 a square foot. So now I'm starting to think that ours is like super underpriced because you know this one's for 475, same size, beautiful long driveway. Sheesh, it's a nice property. Um, similar kitchen, similar finishes, nice windows, you know, a little bit older, maybe a little bit more, not as modern. Beautiful cedar paneling. I mean, views are crazy. So similar type property. Let me look at the land. So this one's 2 acres. Let's look at ours real quick, the comparable. Ours is 3.6 acres. Holy crap. All right. So now I'm getting the impression that it's way under market, right? This one sold for 1.2 million. It's 2 acres on the dot. 3,200 square feet, a little bit bigger, but it looks like it needs a lot of work. It looks like an ugly property. This one sold for 374 a square foot. If you recall, ours is listed at 396 a square foot, and it's way nicer than this one, smaller. But all right, then we have Cerca Verde Verde, 1.285 million, a little bit smaller, sold for 544 square feet, a square foot. It's the same listing agent, by the way. So this listing agent is like doing a good job farming that area. It doesn't have a lot of photos. But it's sold for 544 bucks a square foot. And then this one is like, looks like a fixer. Michelle Martinez. We have that's the name of our notary. Let me see. 4.4 acres, nice house. And it sold for 312 a square foot. Holy crap, this one just seemed like they gave it away, but it was last year, but still seems cheap. And then we have an active 1.7 million with no photo, just one photo. That's kind of weird. I don't know if that's just the MLS acting up, and I should check on Zillow, but this one's comparable, a little bit bigger, obviously 600 square feet bigger, but 1.7 million. Let me just run the quick math on that. 1.775 million, and I'm going to divide it by 34, 45 square feet. That's $515 a square foot. So long story short, ours is like underpriced. Um, I'm going to do this. I'm going to click on reports, CMA summary. And if you combine all of them, it's like $475 a square foot on average. So if you do $475 a square foot times our square footage of 2836, that's 1.35 million. And then if we look at the acres of land that all of them have, they're all, let me see, it doesn't show it on this page. Lot size, here we go. The average is 91,000 square feet. Ours is like over 100. Ours is 158,000. But they all have land, so it's all similar. But I mean, it looks like the value's at least 1.35, probably higher. So Claudia, I know you worked on this deal. Did you find out what's going on with the why they price it so low?
The seller just wanted to see what the market would give him.
Oh, okay. So it's a strategy.
Yeah, he's a list. He has his license. The owner
Okay,
does,
the owner.
but he's not representing himself.
So he knows what he's doing. It's a good, really good marketing strategy. James Stewart.
Yeah, and it's built in
Um,
2005, so it's newer than the other comps.
that's a good thing to point out. What was your value at?
1.4.
Okay. Yeah, sounds right. I mean, it's a really nice property and underpriced. So anyways, that's kind of how I run values and just kind of compare it, and I expand the map and I contract it, um, and so you start wide and then you narrow down in case you guys are wondering how to run comps. But cool, that's it for today. I'm gonna send this CMA. Well, if Claudia hasn't sent hers already, I'm gonna send this one pager to the client along with some other ones. I mean, sorry, some multiple other pages, but that way they can kind of see that we did the work to figure out the value. Does that make sense? All right. We'll see each other later. See each other at Coffee and Cash. Bring some clients mañana. Peace.